Hello, everyone. Welcome back to I Can't Believe That Happened. We are doing an entire season on the history of robots. So I am so excited. If you listen to our previous episodes this season, we were talking about the mythology of robots. We're going into the actual robots of history. So I'm going to dive right on in. We're going back to ancient Greece. And we're going to the first drone. I'm going to just ask for your forgiveness. I don't know how to pronounce most of this. I've been looking all morning for some good ways to pronounce. I'm sorry. I'm going to do the best I can. We are trying something new. This is on video, so either you're listening to this in the car, feel free to head over to our YouTube channel. That's I Can't Believe That Happened. If you actually want to see how this all looks. If not, totally cool. Keep listening. All right, so we're going to Archytas of Terentum. Wish me luck on this. All right, so this gets really confusing for historians when we're looking at ancient Greece. There were a lot of similar names. There's not a lot of written records left over. So there's a few theories that there were two Archytases of Terentum. But I did a ton of research, went through Stanford, went through the Smithsonian. As close as I can tell, this is pretty much the same person, but there are some theories. But we're just going to move ahead with the best of the research I could come up with. And this is the first drone. This is really exciting. This guy was pretty impressive. He was a mathematician. He is a political leader that got elected 7 times. And he was a philosopher. He was also a... what's the right word I'm looking for? He worked with Plato and even rescued Plato from Syracuse. No, not the city. An actual leader. And he sent a boat out to go get him. So this is kind of the time period we're looking at. And around 350 BC, again, like I said, there's not a lot of written records. And one of the things that we deal with as historians and that a lot of historians who are studying are Archytas have a lot of issues with is this is a really brilliant person who not a lot of writing is left that is from him. There's only 4 fragments, that's it, of his own definite work. Everything else is kind of hearsay and things that people wrote about their impressions when they saw something, or they're written by historians that were writing about 50 years after his death. So it's kind of a little bit of a game of telephone tag. And we just kind of do the best we can with piecing everything together. But one of the most interesting things is this possibility that he developed the first drone in 350 BC. And the idea of this, and let's just go into the idea of this because it's really cool, is that it was a dove or a pigeon, depending on who you're talking to, but there was multiple accounts of people who said they saw this happen, that a wooden dove or pigeon flew on its own for 200 meters. Think about this for just a minute. Just a creature that flapped its wings, and the accounts were that this creature flapped its wings, took off, and flew for 200 meters on its own. There's a lot of theories now about how that could have happened. There were multiple sources saying that this did happen, so we have to definitely look at this and say, okay, well, this is coming from multiple sources. And each source said that the bird flew on its own. Now, there's a few different ways to think about this. So we have to look at this as kind of like if you went and saw a magic trick and you said, oh my gosh, this person sawed this person in half. And then 100 other people saw this and said, the person sawed this person in half, and we all saw it. And then they're back together and it's all great. Historians in the future would have to account for maybe someone did saw someone in half. Maybe they put them back together again, or maybe there's something that we didn't know. And if we saw the drawings of how that trick worked, we'd have a much clearer idea. Now, the problem is we don't have drawings. We have no drawings from Archytas. All we have are these accounts of people who saw this and said that this is what happened. As historians and mechanical engineers and other people have looked at this, they've come up with some different theories on how this could have happened. The idea is that there might have been a steam engine, because everyone said that there was a puff of smoke that left the bird when the bird took off. So there's an idea that there's an internal steam combustion engine inside this bird, which, first off, if that happened, wow. I mean, think about this, 350 BC and internal steam combustion engines. Didn't get here. That's pretty wild, right? Okay. That's a theory. The other theory is that there were counterweights and balances and string. So that is a theory. That's a possibility of how this happened. Or he developed something that is so cool and so crazy at that period of time. Now, right now it sounds impossible, but as you go through this journey with me through this season, you're going to hear about inventions that right now would blow your mind if it happened right now. And these absolutely happened back in the BC era. Like, this absolutely was a thing. So as you go through this journey, you might want to revisit this episode and go, well, maybe there was a way this happened. And we're not going to know how this happened because we don't have the drawings of this. We don't have his mechanical drawings of how he created this bird. What we're going to have to wait for is some mechanical, curious person, someone who's really curious about how this could have happened and does research at what tools were available, what materials were available at the time, and what knowledge was baseline at the time. What would this very brilliant mathematician and philosopher have known? And what could he have brought together with the tools and the possibilities at that time? And test and try and fail a billion times and see what would have worked. And maybe one of you is going to be that curious person and you're going to try a whole bunch of times and see how this could work. And you're going to learn a lot if you try this. No matter how far you get in this experiment, you will learn so much. And this is really exciting. I can't wait to talk to you guys next week, because one of the things that as historians we're looking at is who invented what next. So who invents what next is what we're going to cover next week. And that's going to be Hero of Alexandria. And he builds a clockwork bird. And a whole bunch of other things. We are going to go into it. It is crazy. I had no idea these things existed in ancient Greece. So I am so excited to share this with you next week. But this is a few hundred years in the future. So we have to figure out what did Archytas know at the time? What tools did Archytas have at his disposal? And what could he have possibly invented that could have created a steam combustible engine bird? What would cause that poof of smoke? What would cause the wings to move? What would cause the bird to fly 200 meters? And is the only explanation pulleys? I don't necessarily know, but someone curious will absolutely come up with that. All right, everyone, I hope you have a great week. I hope you really enjoy these episodes as much as I'm enjoying researching them. I cannot tell you how my friends are probably getting exhausted with all of my very excited talk about robots from the ancient world. So I hope you're enjoying this. If you can, please share these episodes. I think they're really fun. I think it's actually really important to learn what's possible. We're talking about the BC era. We're talking about time before you could just plug something in, before we had super tiny batteries. So all of these things that